Welcome guys to the live stream. We are back here live playing some more Satisfactory 1.1 live on Terrace DWDC's YouTube channel, and we are continuing our journey for the absolute most screws that any player has ever made in game. We're currently sitting at about just shy of 2.4 million screws, and we have started working on our second conveyor of bauxite now. So estimated that we're gonna hit just shy of 4 million screws by the time I get this conveyor all taken care of, and we're just gonna keep plugging away at building these factories and getting them all in place. A couple other things that I've taken care of is I did tweak down the graphics a little bit just to kind of improve system performance while we're building, just because there's a lot of conveyors and a lot of moving bits and pieces. So I'm just trying to streamline and make sure everything stays stable. And then, yeah, like it's mainly to try to help minimize any crashes that might happen, because I have had a couple of crashes so far. But ever since my internet connection got fixed, and now that I've tweaked these graphics, things have been relatively stable. So we're just going to keep an eye on that and see how things go. So without further ado, let's head over to the game window and kind of see how things are going. So this is where we're at right now with our factory. We've got the first line of bauxite is right here. We've got our alumina solution manufacturing is all getting taken care of. The wastewater is all done. That goes into ingot manufacturing, then steel beam manufacturing, and then steel screw manufacturing that goes beyond that. And now we're doing the exact same thing here with the second line of bauxite. Everything's all over here. We've got all the containers and everything we need for being able to do the recycling of our water. We've already got all of the scrap aluminum being made. The aluminum ingots are being made, and the steel beams are all made. And we're diving into the screw manufacturing now. I did have to kind of adjust a little bit because we've got some terrain that we got to deal with for these next couple of factories that we're building. So I needed to make sure that everything kind of cleared that. So we've got this kind of walled area here that we're going to be kind of building up where the first run of screws gets done. And then above that, we're continuing to build up and then have our awesome sinks and everything all set up in place. So it's coming together. We're just going to keep diving into it. But as you can see here now, because I have the view distance set down to just low for the animation on the conveyors, things will perform a little bit smoother. Everything should be kind of nice and oh, thank you, Tall Terrace, for that. I needed that wake up to get me going for this stream. And yeah, let's, oh, by the way.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
So this is the one I think we're actively working on right now. I'm just working on getting the third batch of, actually it looks like the third batch of conveyors is done. I just have to get them tied into, or is this the second batch? Second batch of conveyors is done. I just got to finish getting them dumped into the awesome sinks and keep going with the other two batch of conveyors that come off of this. So that's kind of where things are at. Things are moving along at a pretty good clip, I'd say. It still does take forever to build these, so it's, I think gameplay wise now, I've got to be getting pretty close to 210 hours of gameplay on this particular save. And I did try doing a bit of I loaded it into Satisfactory Calculator and tried playing around with copying and pasting a build. It did not work. It was an absolute disaster. I had things running it didn't work. It didn't work. I would have to spend probably a whole month just to figure out how to actually get it to move such a large factory. A couple of times it like broke the website because I was trying to move too much with it. So that'll be a problem for another day, I think. Okay, I need my logistics. Oh, I didn't build this out far enough. There we go. You don't need to be there, but you need to be here, out 4. We're getting a little reminder right now that winter still exists in Canada. We got a pretty good little dump of snow that's happening outside right now. It's supposed to snow all day again tomorrow too, which sucks. We did have a long weekend this weekend, so I mean today was a day off, but now we got to go back to work and we're gonna have to drive in a crap ton of snow tomorrow morning, and I'm not overly thrilled about that, to tell you the God's honest truth. I'm not a huge fan of driving in the snow, and where I work is about 25 minutes on a good day without having to, excuse me, hit icy roads. I do have a fresh cup of coffee, but I mean, I'm sitting here yakking now, so it kicks in the yawn instinct. I have decided now too that I'm just kind of leaving any of the conveyor pulls and stuff in place, because it's just faster to build and leave them in place, and then every once in a while I'll throw the save into a Satisfactory calculator and delete all of the conveyor pulls so that it just kind of cleans up the build. It kind of speeds up the whole build process. So I'm kind of all right with that. Anything to try to move this project along at a little bit faster rate than what I've been going right now. I mean, last time you guys saw it, I think the thumbnail was like 1.6 million, and I'm at 2.4 now, so it's, we're moving along. Like things, I wouldn't say it's blazing fast, but it's certainly not a snail's pace that we're at. So far, like the graphics tweak, I just did it today, and so far I think things are running fairly smoothly. Like I don't have to look and see what's running on those conveyors. They're just doing their thing, and so it minimizes the amount of graphical impact that's in place when you've got a million freaking conveyors. I think the last time I checked, I was up over I think it was about 2,000 kilometers worth of conveyors on the map now. So that's creeping up there in the amount of products that are being animated. And then I've nerfed kind of the conveyor view distance and stuff, so we don't have to try to render that all the time and see what's going on. I do have the fog turned off right now, just because it gives me a much clearer snapshot for being able to take thumbnails and things like that. Quick reminder, everybody, reach down, hit that like button on that video, subscribe if you are new to the channel, ring the notification bell so you can be notified when I have a new video or live stream. I'm hoping I can get, for how long this is going, I'd really like to get a video done. I think what I might do is when I do break the current record, which was 4.2 million screws, I'll do the main video, and then I'll do a second video expanding on that when I get it up to its like maximum distance. I am so not putting these conveyors down right. I need to pay attention to that and make sure I get them all going the right direction. They all have to flow out from the constructors. Those first, trying to line up the conveyor poles underneath an elevator, you really do have to get on the right angle for that. can be a little frustrating at times to get the elevator pole put in, or the conveyor pole put in. See, by leaving these conveyor poles though, I mean, does it ever speed up the whole process of getting this built? Well, 5 more. Yep, there we go. I still haven't fixed any like contrast issues to see if I can get the font to look a little better. I've yet to figure out exactly how long it takes to build a full set, a full row of the screw constructors. From build to awesome sync phase. It still takes a while. I think I'm improving in speed. Like the last couple of days I've been playing just like streaming off of my laptop down to my computer downstairs here. And, you know, watching some Olympic stuff. Because Canada's actually starting to get some gold medals, and so I've been kind of paying attention to that. And of course, we've been watching the hockey as well. I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I am an Olympic hockey fan, so... And both the women's and the men's teams are doing really well. But while watching Olympics and stuff, I've just been kind of chipping away and playing on my laptop. But I mean, you're not pushing and trying to go hard at getting anything built. So you can't really gauge how long it takes you to build anything. All I know is yes, I am further along than what I would be if I hadn't been doing that. But, you know, how long or how fast I could build a set of this, I haven't really nailed that down yet. Maybe we'll be able to get this one done plus one more tonight. What are we at here? We're going to have at least another 2.5 hours of the stream here tonight, maybe. By some strange twist of events, I'll be able to build, you know, finish building this one and build another full set. Autosave definitely taking more time now. The factory is getting bigger. The save file is getting larger. So starting to see a little bit of an impact there. All in all, she's playing really smooth now that I've trimmed down those graphics. Like it's a totally different experience. It doesn't feel as choppy as it was getting, especially when I was streaming. Like the other night when I was streaming, when I was like crazy tired there, it was like choppy. It was straining my eyes and everything. Because of course I got my streaming software going. I got the browser going. I got the music playing in the background, chat going. And it was just, everything just felt stuttery through the whole thing, which was adding to the eye fatigue and everything. And I shut down the stream. I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm tired. I shut everything down. And then after everything was closed and I was just playing and I wasn't like on trying to chat and trying to be like on point, I was able to fly through and finish up that last row of screws that I was working on. And things kind of went okay because I didn't have a lot of extra running in the background. But now that I've got the graphics turned down, it kind of feels like that again. The gameplay is smooth enough that it's not trying to do too much all at once. Which is a big impact in the game, like your game experience too. However, you know, when I wasn't streaming and I was just playing on the desktop, I mean, it felt fine. But it's amazing just how much extra goes on in the background when you've got Streamlabs OBS up and running. You've got some music playing in the background. You got your chat window, the Chrome window running with the stream on it, plus the gameplay. It's additional stress to the computer for sure. And my computer's no slouch. Insert ad segue here.
And now a word from our sponsor.
If you're interested in the game specs, the system specs that I am running, click on the Amazon affiliate link that's located in the description of this video or in my About page on my YouTube channel. And you can see what system specs I'm running. It's pretty close match to the exact computer I'm running. It's the same motherboard, same CPU. It is a lower amount of RAM because RAM is absolutely ridiculous right now. I'm running with 64 gigs of 6,000 megahertz, and I put 32 gigs in the build price, just because that's a ridiculous price. Anybody needs to be paying for RAM. And the graphics card, I'm running with a 4070 Super, which isn't available, so I just selected a 5070 as its graphical option in that build list. Pretty much everything else is identical, though, right down to the gaming monitor that I'm using. The keyboard, I think, is just the current gen of the same keyboard I'm using. The mouse, which is an absolute cheap mouse, it's like 25 bucks, I think. I'm using that one. It's just a Red Dragon USB gaming mouse. Does the trick. It works. I ain't complaining about its performance. I've been using this now for a number of years, and it's starting to show some age now. But I bet you it's been 5 years since I've been using this mouse. And for 25 bucks, that's pretty cheap. Pretty cheap indeed. I think I need to turn 3 of these here. That's for the next batch of conveyors we are working on. Now, I do think the way I have this all getting built now and the design of it, I don't have enough room to run this now with my... I can only pull the blueprint out a couple of times on the initial run of these conveyors for the 24 stack, so I end up having to do a little bit more manual conveyor building, which is okay. It's not the end of the world, but... Okay, I knew I didn't use a 90 degree there, or a straight conveyor. Where's my poles? But I didn't actually put the poles down for it. It's okay, I'm not totally losing my mind. Much. No, I can't do it that way. I have to feed them from this side. I really wish if you bumped against a conveyor, it did not knock you out of flight mode. I spend quite a bit of time getting myself back into flight mode and picking myself up off the ground or trying to realign myself as I'm building shit. Just like that there. And that one I clicked in the wrong spot. So I've realized that when I'm playing this on my laptop upstairs, and if I gotta go and get up and do something, I usually just set my laptop up on the couch beside me and get up and go do whatever. Both of my cats will come over to it and sit there and stare at the screen when the conveyors are flying by like this. They're like, what is going on? They start pawing. Fortunately, they don't do it with their claws. If they did, it would really suck, but they start pawing at my screen. But for now, they're just doing it with the pads of their feet. They're not pulling the claws out. I can be okay with that because it doesn't hurt anything. I'll be a little more disappointed if they grab the claws and start going scratch, 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 scratch. And one of my cats has been absolutely addicted to watching hockey. When we put the Olympic hockey on, he sits just below the TV and just stares at the game the whole time. I've never seen a cat do that. And he'll just be glued to it. That's one thing I should set up for the stream is a cat cam. I just generally don't let them into my office because there's so many things in here that they can knock down. And I would rather they didn't do that. Yeah, see, it used to get really laggy in this section here where you had to be, when you looked over this way, and all of these conveyors were full moving stuff around. Now it's really not so bad here now. Even with this construction all as tightly close as it is packed in here. Frog, welcome to the stream.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
You gambled and won tonight. I don't know why every once in a while I end up grabbing the belt, throwing the belt on before I get the rest of the conveyors built. It's not very productive. I end up spending more time swapping back and forth between what I'm building if I don't just get everything all done at once. Okay. This one would have gone this way, then this should go like this. had that conveyor elevator going in the wrong direction because I didn't have the bottom piece on, which is why that wasn't connecting properly. Yeah, actually kind of impressed with the increased performance by not running everything at like ultra settings. It's fine when it's, you know, a normal factory. And by normal, I mean, I don't know, everything you would need to be able to finish the game. It's just when you do these ridiculous mega factories that somehow I can manage to tank out the performance of the game. I'm doing my part anyway. I wonder if I will actually be able to get it to the goal of all of the... Like it's... Man, it's going to be like hundreds of millions of screws per minute by the time everything all gets done. I wonder if the save will become corrupt before I can get there. I think the save will become corrupt before it happens, but... However, I don't think it'll happen before I break the current record. That I think I'm very confident with, that we're going to be able to plow through with no problems. I guess I should put all these in. Now, there's no screws running on those yet because I just haven't connected them at the other end. Sometimes it's just easier to build it without staring at the screws flying by. Autosave. Yeah, we're about 2 seconds on the autosave. This should be 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, generally this is all flying along pretty good now. Everything's got muscle memory because I built so many of these little clusters now. That was not muscle memory. I meant to hit R to turn that to a straight build. Hit E instead and it changed the build type. Okay, those should be all hooked up. We'll go hook it up at this end. This is where it's visually a little bit tricky. Because we were close enough to watch all those other conveyors still flying product on them. Yeah, it's when I back at this end and I click on it, it like skips up a beat. And it's right when I'm moving up at the same time to be able to click on the next conveyor. And I end up either going up too high and I end up clicking the one above. I might as well get all the conveyor work done on this right away here. I'm already in conveyor build mode. I might as well keep going. So by the time we get this line here done, we'll be like 2.5 mil. We can get one more done tonight, 2.6 mil screws. That's working. That's doing its thing. The focus is real. The concentration. I'm the gold medalist of screw manufacturing. Like last place when it comes to flying and not hitting a freaking conveyor though. It's like 3 times now in a row. Hit that stupid conveyor and knock myself out of flying. I love the whole H button to be able to nudge things around. Like, ugh. When you're dealing with these huge blueprints, it is so much easier. Like here, I know it's not on the right spot. I hit H, fly back here. I want it that way, and I want it to go back to there. Left click, and it's committed. Do this one. Fly around, make sure it's in the right spot. Everything looks good. I would love this whole thing to be able to build it all in like one massive, huge blueprint, but not so much luck. Next floor. Conveyor holes, conveyor holes, conveyor holes. See what I mean? I got this down to a science. I know where everything's got to go. It's all complete muscle memory. Within reason. I mean, I've done enough of these drops of awesome sinks that I should be able to build it with my freaking eyes closed by now. I should, anyway. There is probably a way I could have blueprinted this bit, but it's hard to tell, especially when you're dealing with trying to connect conveyors and stuff, how much you can get away with blueprint and how much you have to kind of still manually build. VSN Quake, welcome to the stream. Before you know it, you'll be doing it in your sleep. Pretty much doing it now, almost. There's been times where I've been like nodding off for sure. Welcome to the stream, by the way.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Oh, that was one too many. One too many. Part of me thinks that I maybe should have done this challenge without unlimited summer sloop, but I think that it just adds to it. Everybody else can do that too. Like, I don't anticipate there being an issue with basically allowing the ability to just spawn in the summer sloop so that you can make the most of your factories. It's the only way we're going to be able to pull off the hundreds of millions that we're going to end up making on this. I think it comes down to, it's going to be like, if it doesn't crash before I get all the aluminum done, just the aluminum end alone is going to be somewhere of around 140 to 143 million screws. And that's not touching any iron in the game at all. That's a screw or two. Nope, I want this connected here first so that I know it connected to the conveyor. Chirp. And then this one is, nope. Change the product again. I needed that as a 90-degree conveyor. That part's done. Let's go back to this end. Oh, the nice thing about having all the conveyors done at that end now is I can weave this back and forth. Just makes the attaching conveyors easier. Come on now. Line up like you're supposed to, god damn it. Autosave. Pretty good little hiccup on that autosave. Part of me's thinking, oh, should I set it down to, you know, more than every 15 minutes? Like, maybe do the autosave every 30 minutes, but then I don't want to lose 30 minutes of game time if something breaks. 15 minutes is probably harsh enough as is. Because believe it or not, you can get a lot built in 15 minutes. I know that first crash we had about a week and a half ago, probably 2 weeks ago now. I think it was only 10 minutes worth of work we lost, but it was a ton of work. Just hear all the constructors grinding away. The sound is, with the summer sloop in them, it's a totally different sound to them. That was so not in the right spot. something so relaxing about building in this game and seeing everything all come together. Seeing no hiccups in your build. Like when I'm working on the aluminum portion of it, I get it all built first before I turn it all on. Like all of the dealing with the wastewater, you know, making the alumina solution, get the iron ingot manufacturing all set up, or the aluminum ingot factory all set up, get the steel beam factory all set up. And then you turn it on, and then you see everything just kind of click and all work together. They named this game so well by calling it Satisfactory. So the last 4 conveyors are the tricky ones we got to deal with, because that's not necessarily cookie cutter, because we have to kind of route those products in a different direction. It's not that it's complicated, it's just a little more work. Okay, I do need to remember to frickin' hook up the conveyors, though. I don't want to risk them connecting to and linking to a pole behind the conveyor elevator. Okay, that should be the last of those. So we got our first 4 that we got to turn around the corner. They're the 4 separate conveyors that we got to kind of route in a little bit more creative direction for them. And it is only 4 conveyors worth, not an entire stack. This one comes down. Okay, so this one here we got to be a little bit more creative with. And it's... I think I can get away with doing this one, but I don't think I can do that one. I might have to skip one. Okay, let's put this out like so. Because you're going to come to here. And we're going 3 high with that. 85? No, 86 again. You know, you won again. Look at that. 2 wins in a row. Chris, welcome to the stream.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
How are you this fine evening? Hopefully it's better than us. We're getting snow. It sucks. I don't like snow. I don't know if this is gonna work here. It doesn't, but what would if I did this? If I did that with it, and then I brought this one up. Come on, give me that. That connects. And then I can delete this out. I'm good. I'm in the south of Texas. Weather is amazing. Yeah, not so much here. We're supposed to get between tonight and all the way through to tomorrow. Upwards of... why are you not lining up right? Upwards of close to a foot of snow, I think. Because tonight is supposed to be 10 centimeters, which is about 4 inches. And tomorrow is supposed to be 10 to 15 centimeters. So that's going to be a total of like 25. That's just shy of a foot. Okay, so I got to come from this way to get that to line up properly. That is good. So then we can come down to this one as well. And we're clicking here. And then these 3. Clicking here. And then those 3. See, a little bit more creative with moving these products down here. And then... I think I've got to put conveyor holes here because I don't think it will reach all the way down. So this should be that one and those. Corf, we've had such a mild, like, end of January, February, that us getting a little bit of a reminder that it is still winter is kind of... I guess we can accept it, but I just really hate the snow. I hate driving in it. I do a lot of driving with work, and I just hate it, so... I actually posted a couple of Satisfactory videos on a new YouTube channel, plus streaming a new playthrough on Twitch. I need a new camera. Using my old phone is problematic. I'm just using a Logitech 920C for my webcam. I do want to get a new one. It's a YoloCam S3, I think is the one I want to get. That's like really good quality on a little bit more of a budget. That will do, I think it's capable of... Was it 2K 60 frames? But my goal was that I wanted to get at least 1080p 60 frames on it so that it matched what I'm what I'm streaming at or recording my videos at. Because if your camera is like not in a multiple of like 60 FPS, you can end up with like a choppy webcam in your stream. So it's something you got to kind of keep an eye on when you're streaming, is making sure that you're in. So either stream at 30 FPS or like if you're doing a 60 FPS video, set your webcam at like 30 FPS or 60 FPS. Because then if you have it at an offset FPS in there, you'll end up with some choppiness. But the YOLOCAM S3, I think it's the S3. I'm gonna have to look it up now. That's on my like wish list right now. I need a browser window. Hold on. YOLOCAM S3. Where is it here? I did a search for it and it did not show up. Let me bring that window over so I can actually see what I'm looking at. YOLOCAM S3. This is the one here. Man, the price has even jumped up again. I'm going to post the link in chat for you. It's a little on the pricey side. Like it was at Christmas time. This thing was like crazy cheap. But now it's like not so cheap, but zoink. That's the one I'm looking at wanting to, that's on my wish list for my next cam. That's almost enough screws for 100 or for 12 HKF/ per minute. HMF per minute. The ultimate goal here is to break the record. Right now, I think the record's right around 4.2, 4.3, somewhere around there. And I'm pushing to want to get to, well, the plan that I've got right now, just in aluminum making screws, I'm going to break 100 million screws per minute. If the game save survives. I think I'm going to come down to a broken game save before I actually hit that number. But that's the goal anyway. Is, you know, well over 100 million screws. If it happens. And by the way, Trollum, welcome to the stream.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
I know this seems like a lot of extra work to try to move these screws around to get it to where I want them to kind of tie into everything else. These last 4 conveyors, but do you use OBS for streaming? Streamlabs OBS is what I'm using. So Streamlabs version of the open source OBS. I'll probably play around with at some point using just OBS. But some of the integrations and stuff, because I'm using Streamlabs chatbot for this, so it integrates really well with their streaming software when you have their chatbot and stuff like that. So I kind of prefer to kind of keep everything all together. And I'm using the direct, like I'm not using the custom stream info. I'm just using their defaults for YouTube for ingest servers. I used to use the custom ones from YouTube, but now I just let Streamlabs handle it. And I mean, it does everything. Streamlabs OBS does everything you need to do. Like I've got the customs, like transitions for going from scene to scene. I've got those all built into it. It works really well. What the hell's the term they use for those stinger transitions? Struggled with that for a minute. And I mean, the layout for being able to get your scenes and everything all set up, it seems to work well. I can't complain about it. If I did, nobody would listen anyway. I believe with regular OBS, there is a lot more flexibility that you can do, but it's a lot more manual in getting things set up. I'm kind of a let's just drag and drop and see where the chips lie kind of person. You bringing in ore, ingots, something all over the world via trains or something like that? No, actually, I'll show you what I'm doing. I have a conveyor superhighway that's running through the entire middle of the map. So I started off by gathering all of the bauxite nodes in the game, and they all head over to this far end down here to some awesome sinks that are out there. And then the next thing I did is I went and gathered all of the SAM ore in game, and then I have all of the SAM ore down here in this bottom little corner over here. It's all being converted into reanimated SAM. And then I gathered all of the Caterium ore in game, ran it down this way, and it's being run through converters with the reanimated SAM to turn it into bauxite. And then I gathered all the copper in game and ran that through converters to be able to make more bauxite. What am I doing for power? I actually have power turned off in this challenge so that I didn't have to worry about power through the whole thing. I'm not dealing with any power. And then for coal, I'm actually using petroleum coke. This is all petroleum coke. I took all the oil nodes in the game, turned it into heavy oil residue, and then from that heavy oil residue made petroleum coke and polymer resin. And then the polymer resin's being used to make empty containers, because I'm using the empty containers over here. So with the bauxite, I'm turning it into alumina solution using, I think it's sloppy alumina is the recipe I'm using. Alternate recipe sloppy alumina, where we're converting all of it into alumina solution. And then I'm using electrode aluminum scrap, combining it with the petroleum coke to be able to get all of our scrap aluminum. Of course, that does produce wastewater. So the wastewater comes over here to those containers that I'm making from the polymer resin, because that's getting converted into plastic and so on and so forth. And so that's all running through for converting all of the wastewater. And then, of course, that's all dumping into awesome sinks for us. And then with the scrap aluminum, we come into, we're using pure aluminum ingots as the alternate recipe for that, making our aluminum ingots. And then we come over to making aluminum beams from that, which makes steel beams. It's a very efficient way to make steel beams. And then from those steel beams, we run into constructors making steel screws. And 1,000 beams makes 104,000 screws. Because, of course, we're using unlimited summer sloop in this build. So you gotta love a game where water into plastic containers and then into a shredder makes sense. But a pipe into the ocean doesn't. I know, right? It's because the pipes in this game are an absolute nightmare to navigate. And now I'm lost. Where the hell am I? As you can see, this factory is getting a little bit on the large side now. We have a lot of floors, a lot of things all happening. So every constructor that I've got here is making 1,040 screws per minute. So you're quite familiar with the pipes in Satisfactory, which is why I deal everything. When it's pipe level, it is always at water level where I'm dealing with it. I don't try to transport water or fluids a long distance or a high distance at all. I get to get everything done at ground zero with the fluids, and then I don't have to worry about dealing with headlift because it's an absolute pain in the ass to deal with. Which set are we on? We're on this set over here. The headlift in this game, it can actually be a real headache. It drives me absolutely crazy at times. There was one build where I wanted to try to gather up. I was going to make, I think it was, the goal was to make like all the plastic in the world or something like that. And so I gathered up all the oil, and I thought I did a really good job of dealing with the headlift, and I had it all come over to this spot over here on the map so we could deal with the water and stuff. And it was an absolute nightmare. It was the worst thing I ever did because I could never get the oil to flow consistently. So Chris said, yeah, I went to dinner. Where did I miss something here? We went to dinner during rebuilding my rocket power plant, and it blew out the entire world power grid. I fought with it for hours. Yeah, trying to deal with... I didn't want to be dealing with power while trying to do a factory this ridiculous. It doesn't even tell me exactly how much power I would be using for any of these builds. Like it's... I'm sure it's ridiculous because we're... Oh, what we've got to be... Constructors alone, I've got to be sitting at 3,000 constructors now, probably? I don't know. Awesome sinks are... There's 100 awesome sinks for every group of screws that we're making. So, yeah, it's crazy. One, two, three, four. I'm just going to get this all kind of built up at this end so that the next set I can just dump in here. Are you slooping overclocking? I'm doing lots of overclocking, and anything that can take a summer sloop, I'm doing a summer sloop. To be able to get the maximum production output I can. And I'm not capped at whatever the world has available for summer sloop. I'm spawning in whatever summer sloop I can use for all of the builds. I'm building in kind of creative to be able to build all this, so I'm not having to run around and gather the materials and stuff for it. So as long as it can take a summer sloop, it gets a summer sloop. And then overclocks are done strategically to be able to get me the proper yields on stuff that I'm not just cranking everything to 250%. The only things that are, of course, are like generally water extractors, because if I overproduce water, it's not a big deal. And generally, like every single mining node is running at 250%. Like they're maxed out. Okay, this end, I think, is pretty much done. Even for the next set of constructors that we have building for screws. Okay, so I just have to run 4 of these back to tie them into what's already existing. And then we can go and adjust our screw counter. It can be a bit of a complicated game. I mean, if you were ever to play it and do like a normal playthrough, it does have a natural progression through the game by doing the different phases. It guides you through what you can do. At this point of the game now, I've finished and completed this game like dozens of times now. So I'm doing complicated things because I can. It's not that it's a complicated game when you first... I mean, don't get me wrong, even during like the phases when you're working through the different, levels as you progress through the game, it can be, there are going to be times where you're going to find it's challenging and you find yourself tearing down and rebuilding your base over and over and over again. But it's not the end of the world. Chris says, it can be, depends on how much you want to scale and decorate. See, I haven't done a lot of decorating. I'm always more form over function. No, function over form is how I build. I want it to work. I want it to be symmetrical. I don't like clipping. So I do what I can to avoid clipping as best I can. And then, yeah, I let everything else kind of fly at it. I did in one of my playthroughs in one of my series, I think it was back in like update 8 of the early access. I did make an attempt at making some buildings that weren't just, a square box or an open frame. But something like this is all about, oh, there was a auto save lag spike. This is all about just trying to get all of these products going, so. Trollum says, hey, I'm responsible for some pretty epic clipping crimes in my friend group saves. Yeah. Do we at least build on foundations? I will let clipping go away. I can forgive clipping if you're at least building on foundations. And your foundations are to grid. The world grid. That's where I start to like tweak a little bit, is if the foundations aren't on world grid, so. Parker says, I have moderate clipping tolerances as long as it's out of sight and on a logistics floor. See, that's where a lot of it ends up. Like, there's been some of the lines of materials and stuff that I've gathered out here where there's like rock cropping that's in the way. So I'll blast through the rock with the conveyor belt, and then I just throw a building around it so that it hides it, that I just cut through the middle of a mountain because I didn't want to go around it. As long as you can hide it under a building and it's not visible to the naked eye, it's forgivable. Okay, that should be now. Which one? That's this one over here. Oh, when I say clipping, I don't mean clipping for good. I mean intentionally did things that are just stupid because it was hilarious. Okay, well, there's that. You do you, I guess. So this should be another 104,000 screws done. Let's go update our billboard here. He built a smelter manifold where the coal and the iron belts occupied the same space. See, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. Okay, we are at 2,498,080 screws. Billboard updated. Next floor. You said they were crimes. They were aligned to grid, so it's only half a crime then. Getting rid of some just excess useless space out here that isn't doing anything. And that's a long ways down. It was still an award-winning build. Nobody judged the smelter manifold, thankfully. Where did you find a place that gives out awards for builds? If I ever get this done, I'd like to submit it. For the most insane thing you can do. Make the most absolute useless item in-game to scales beyond belief. We won the 2024 Coffee Stain Fixmas Build competition. Well, congratulations on that. That's cool. I'm hoping one of these years they do some kind of an update with Fixmas. It's very rinse and repeat right now. And I would kind of like to see something a little bit more not the same as it's been for the last 5 years. I mean, all they really do is just update the advent calendar. And that's pretty much about it. What do we got to do? Is it one or two more on this? I think it's two. There we go. All right, let's customize this a little bit so we see where not to build. I don't think they've changed it since update 6. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since they've. Other than the advent calendar, I think is the only thing that's really changed. Okay, don't build there. That's the only restriction I have. Did Mark 6 belts get a Fixmas skin? You know, I have no idea if they did or not. I didn't do Fixmas this year. I just basically skipped it. Because I did one when... Or did I? Did I do it when Update 1 first came out? I think I'd have to go back and look. Because I skipped it this Christmas, but we were 1.1. I think at 1.0 I did do Fixmas. But I can't remember if the belts were... I honestly don't know. I don't even know if I still have that save kicking around. We gotta go from this one, so I gotta bring a conveyor hole over for this. And I gotta place this one right here. See, this, for 1.1 this Christmas, I even just disabled the holiday event because I didn't want the packets were like falling all over some of the builds and stuff I was doing. Because I did a video where I took all the coal in the game and I turned it into coal power generation, And then I did a video where I took all the iron ore in the game and turned it all into pure iron ingots. And that was all around Fixmas there. And so I was having packages fly everywhere, and I'm like, no, I'm just turning it off. It's the same thing. I don't need it flying, so. I'm abusing the hell out of the infinite lifter. Yes. Wholeheartedly. And no regrets over that whatsoever. There isn't a spot on this map right now where I'm not abusing the infinite lifter. It's all good. I don't know if they will fix it. I think they will leave it that way. They've had plenty of opportunities to be able to fix that, and I don't think that's on their bucket list of things to worry about right now, so. Where are we at here? I'm just going to steal this one from here. Straight build that in. My little failover awesome sink. So once this is all running, I don't want lines to back up at all. That's why I throw awesome sinks just about everywhere in here. Quick reminder, everybody, reach down, hit the like button on the video, subscribe if you are new to the channel, ring that notification bell so you can be notified when I have another video or live stream up and running. Thank you. All right, blueprint time. Factory screws. You're going to go there. And then we're going to nudge you into place to where you need to be. And nudge you. And nudge you. I just wish they would improve the animation for the Mark 6 belts. They are so slow to build. Like, it's ridiculous why they've got that animation so slow. Every other belt builds so much faster. Okay, screws are being made. Now I gotta put the awesome sinks in. Next challenge, build this but only using Mark 1. No thanks. No, I don't think I can. Well, those I'd be able to. Let's roll down this way. Well, that I'd be able to. No, see that there. Well, I guess based off the overclock, that's using 100 per minute of the scrap aluminum. Yeah, more constructors but then I'd still need to, because these are putting out, like this is 1,000 aluminum scrap per minute is what this is putting out. If I turn that down to, oh man, could you imagine how many freaking, it'd be a waste because your mining nodes, right? Like your mining nodes are, you'd only be able to get 60 bauxite. So you're gonna run out of like why even bother mining it, because you're only gonna get 60 bauxite. From the conversion stuff, you could probably get away with a little bit of it, but again, you're only gonna get 60 copper and 60 ingots because they don't have multiple outputs on the actual. So I think the Mark 1 thing would not work well, especially when you're dealing with Mark 3 nodes. You want to get as much raw material as you can. Okay, we got to put the awesome sinks in here now. Blueprints, awesome sinks. Have it on your desk by Friday. Yeah, well, I'm not even going to have this done by Friday. I am only on the second bauxite conveyor of 72 bauxites. 72 conveyors of bauxite. I've got a ways to go yet before... Did I line that up properly? I didn't do a nudge on that one, but I think I did. And I've been at this one for, well, I think we got to be pushing 210 hours now. And then back to the beginning while these... Oh, another autosave incoming. Freeze in 2, 1. Yeah, we're about 2 seconds. And I think I've just got you on a second screen while I haul 780 tons of ore per trip between stations in Elite Dangerous. I never did get into... I own a copy of Elite Dangerous, but I've never really got into it. A bunch of my friends play it, and like I started, but it was... I don't know, the vastness of space, I think, is overwhelming. I just couldn't wrap my head around what would be the best way to play that game. Okay, so all the awesome sinks are in place. They're all built. Now it's a matter of getting the conveyors going, and we've got about an hour and a half left of the stream. We'll see how far we can get. I don't think I can pull off getting all these done in an hour and a half. There is no best way to play the game. That took me a few years to learn. I respect that. Every game has their... You know, every player plays things differently. Like, you look at what some people do in Satisfactory and the builds that they end up slapping together. Total Eclipse, the quality of builds that he does. I'm Kibitz, the quality of builds he does. And then you get Let's Game It Out. And I'm not even going to say the quality of builds he does. The absolute ridiculous insaneness that he builds. Like at Satisfactory, people ask what is the best way to... There is no best way. It's whatever you think is fun. That's the best. If it's not fun, then it's not the best. Absolutely. Everybody's going to play things differently. I mean, look at Minecraft. I love doing like massive, amazing builds in survival in Minecraft. And other people are like all about the PvP aspect of Minecraft, or... You know, just like doing resource mining and trying to get all the diamonds they can in game or something. Like, it's... These sandbox games give you so much more flexibility on how you play and develop. And I'm pretty sure I put that in the wrong spot. I did. Let's Game It Out builds are high quality, curated gourmet garbage. That's absolute truth. My goal with this build here is I want to do like an OCD version of Let's Game It Out by building 100 million screws in game, but having it all lined up and symmetrical where you can. And yeah, that's about the best way as I can describe it is OCD Let's Game It Out. Oh, you actually won in slots for a change, Frog. Look at you go. Slots is usually a great way to lose your tokens. I did not hook that up to a conveyor. Let's do that first. I'm hoping it's not connected to that. Hey, wait, why do I have no... Oh, that would be why. I'm like, why don't I have any screws running yet? It's because I'm an idiot. And I didn't actually hook the steel beams up. I'm like, I should have screws here. Some of them are already populating. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you next time. Obvious and Quake, you have yourself a good one. Thank you for chilling and hanging out with us for a little bit. I still have yet to find a faster way to kind of build all of this. It's just, I think if I had like a 10 by 10 blueprint, I could have built it a little bit easier. I know there's some add-ons where you can get larger blueprint designers and stuff, but so far I've done all of this without add-ons. Other than I used Satisfactory, the very first game crash I had, I used Satisfactory Calculator to remove all of the conveyor poles. Because I had like 50,000 of them, almost 51,000 of them in game. So I just deleted them all, got rid of them. And then if I start seeing huge glitches again, I'll do the exact same thing. I'll just kind of rinse and repeat. Every once in a while, I'll clear out the conveyor poles because there are entities that don't need to be here. Once the belts and everything are all built, you don't need them there anymore. So I will happily get rid of them to help improve game performance. For a while there, as I was building all these, I kept deleting them as I was going. And man, does that ever like drastically increase the time it takes to build a set of these freaking constructors and have them dumping into awesome sinks if you're constantly going back and deleting out all of the conveyor poles. It sucks. Satisfactory 1.2 introduces structural integrity calculations and requirements. No more floating stuff? No. I think that's a separate build mode, though, isn't it? Because try to finish before that happens. I'll load this save up in experimental and see what happens. That's got to be a build mode, because that will totally... No, they're not doing that. Okay, I haven't looked at any of the patch notes of what the 1.2 experimental has in it. So, god damn, that would suck so bad. But I could see them maybe doing that in a different game mode. But that would break everyone's saves out there. 100%. I don't think anybody's save would survive. Could you imagine if they had done that, though? You log in and you literally just watch your builds fall apart. Nobody's PC survived the process of loading a map. Well, somebody that's got a Core i9... What is it? i9 20s... or 275K? 265K? With 128 gigs of RAM. 5090. They might survive if they like stared at the ground to load as everything like fell apart. Because it would only do it as like sections of it became viewable. It wouldn't like all fall over at once. I mean, technically it would all fall over, but you wouldn't get the render of it until you flew close to a structure. That is not supposed to be there. I'm going to delete this one out because that is wrong. I'd like to think my computer would be able to handle some type of, maybe not in this build, but some type of like catastrophic, everything all collapsed event. I've done some pretty crazy things in Tekkit back in the day on my computers with like red matter and dark matter and certain explosives that like delete half the world, end up creating like a vortex. And my computer system survived through those. Well, and especially considering like I don't think Unreal Engine is set up to handle that many physical objects. No, and then of course I have like drastically increased the entity count in this. I am not running stock entity count for the Unreal Engine on this build because I would bring the save to its knees if it was relying on the stock entity count. Had been toying around a little bit with the idea of jumping back into Minecraft for a little bit. Finding another SMP server to get on. They have to be adult-only servers. I can't... I totally screwed all of these up. Son of a biscuit. Okay, I gotta delete all of these. They're all wrong. That first conveyor was supposed to spin out and start the new row, and I got distracted. I didn't pay attention to what I was building. Because I'm already at 24 high now. So we'll just rinse and redo these. And try that again. This conveyor needed to turn here to start the next row. And then I can bring the elevator down. And not to the bottom conveyor. Okay, that fixed our little screw up. Autosave. Trying to decide whether or not I bump up the timer on the autosave to like every 30 minutes instead of every 15 minutes. Just now that it's hitching so much. If I do, though, that'll be the time that it'll end up being an absolute disaster, and I'll lose like 25 minutes worth of work. All right, let's line this up right there. Do some building. That's not the right spot for that. Oh, I've got to put in my... I don't know why I have it built out this little section. I don't really need that there. But I've done it all the way down and I've done it on every section, so I'm like, well, I might as well keep it there. How can you tell I've done those a few times? Ah, that's the wrong spot. I was just thinking that you've built more than a few conveyor highways since you've got the back and forth without reversing any belts down. Yeah, as long as you're going from the front working towards, like, if you're working from your final destination back to where you're starting from, you could do the forward and back, no problem. But if you're going from your start point towards your destination, you have to go only the one direction on your conveyor belts. Is basically how that works. Like this section right here, like say I was going to work with between this little bit here, I wouldn't be able to go back and forth on that unless I had these conveyors already done here. These ones I can go back and forth, but this section between these two conveyor poles, I can't go back and forth there because there's no predefined direction set on the belt. And when you can get the back and forth set up, it's just, it increases your build time so much if you have that flexibility to be able to build it like that. So wherever I can, I always start from my final destination, building my belts, and work my way backwards. And the conveyor lists do a great job of helping you set direction as well, too. Hello, get on the right side of the conveyor, though. That was too far down. And that was not high enough. Slow down, it'll go faster. It's what my dad used to always say. All right, next set of conveyors. See, now that I've got that conveyor pole stack all connected, I could do back and forth here again. This is a little bit more tricky because you're dealing with a 90-degree turn. And you just got to make sure that everything like clips properly. It's a little bit more finicky. Some angles are better to work with. See, this is where the speed of the conveyor building would be so much better if they would fix that animation. Because I end up building the conveyors faster than they're rendering in. So you can easily kind of not see where you were supposed to be connecting. they do at least illuminate the side that the conveyor is building from. So I guess that's something. We still have one conveyor, one manifold or whatever that's not, it's still working on dumping out products here. There we go. We're finally caught up to this point, is where the steel beams are dumping their stuff in. Build low mark belts and then upgrade them. Would it take longer to go back and upgrade them once you built them? Especially on the blueprint side. I think it might take longer to go back and upgrade them after. Because you'd still have to deal with the animation after upgrading them. No, I'm not thinking blueprints, just I'm thinking for the tall stacks like you were doing. It'd be quick spam to do it, but if you missed one little chunk of belt. Because some of these spots, it can be a tiny little section of belt. And if you didn't click that, then it would just like screw up the whole belt speed on everything. I think I'd be better off just kind of staying status quo. Wow. Let's get my keys, my hands on the keyboard correctly and stop hitting the wrong keys. I mean, that would be a good thing too. There are some sections in here where I've got tiny little chunks of conveyor when you're like connecting them to lifts and stuff that they'd be easily missed trying to do a belt upgrade on. See, these ones here are the ones I can't go back and forth on because then it sets the conveyor belt the wrong direction. Which is fine. Got it down to enough of a science now. You're barely even looking at it at this point now when I'm building these. I'm kind of staring off into space, you know, generally looking in the direction I need to be clicking, but I'm kind of looking ahead to the next piece and not really paying attention, which is probably why I get some mistakes in there. Beldrain, welcome to the stream.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
You're doing the second playthrough, dreading the first tier, tear down and rebuild. First tier, second tier, third tier. It seemed like every tier I was tearing down and rebuilding for the longest time when I played. I generally don't mind the first tier teardown because you don't have very much and you get a significant boost. That going from 60 to 120 on your conveyor belts when you got your Mark II conveyor belt seemed like you were getting such a huge upgrade. Lol, the Decker Cane got my wife to perk up. Yeah, Decker Cane from Diablo 2. Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen. I have lots of other little sounds that are actually, like, if you've noticed through the stream, there's like times where it talks about like Terrace tokens. They're basically the chatbot that's in stream here. I've got like loyalty point systems awarded. So if you're active in chat, you start to earn Terrace tokens. I can't remember exactly what the payouts are. But then as you earn points, you can spend them on different sounds and interactions. And I've got like tons of them. There's a link in my Discord to all of them that are out there. And you can have an idea of like how many points and stuff you've got. In fact, I haven't done this one in a while. I might just do another points dump and see. Give everybody a couple hundred points just for the sake of doing it. Let's log back into Streamlabs. Connect to the right channel. There we go. Continue. Privacy. Blah, blah. Continue. Blah, 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 blah. And it's Cloudbot, I think, right? Yes, Cloudbot. Loyalty. Add points to all viewers. Let's go 250 points just because I can. Confirm. And then on the next cycle of payout, as long as you're active in chat, you will get 250 points that you can spend on various interactions in the game. My son, who's Tall Terrace, who's generally in stream, in the background, loves to hit me with the air horn. There's a thunderclap one too that is like fucking nearly leaps me out of my skin. The air horn's pretty good. The train whistle is long. I had another longtime viewer of my channel, Lockdot. He's got like the worst internet on the planet. Like I swear, if dial-up, dropped every other bit, that would be the speed of internet that he had. So we had a dedicated one for his potato internet, which is basically just like the Netscape Navigator icon that pops up in the middle of the stream and then plays the dial-up sound in the background. Veldrain says, I'm playing this until the game that I want hopefully recently releases next month. What game are you anxiously awaiting for? Is it another sandbox type game like this? Crimson Desert. I've not even heard of it. I'm going to have to look that up and see what it's all about. I tell you, like this game here, I started playing this right as update. It was like a week before update 5 came out. So I can say I started in update 4, but it really didn't. I was playing for like maybe a day or two, and then update 5 dropped. So I'm essentially an update 5 and on. And it's literally been the only game I've played. My Steam playthrough or whatever, my year-end wrap-up, for the last 2 years has been just Satisfactory. I've got... It's somewhere between 2,800 and 2,700 hours of gameplay in Satisfactory. Well, you're an idiot. Took a contract to fly 122,000 light seconds into a system, so I think it's a good time to go AFK, get a drink while I fly. That is a long time that you got to deal with that. Crimson Desert equals Black Desert Online multiplayer minus P2W Cash Shop, made by the same people. Nice. Our next stack of 24 conveyors is almost ready to build out to the awesome sinks. Still making pretty good time on the build progress too, so... Wait, no, this is wrong. Pay attention. 2 of these need to spin out this way. Because I just finished saying we're almost done this stack. So the bottom ones dump. To start the next row. Pain and torture satisfactory before Zoop. Oh yeah. Yes it was. Yes it was. Zoop for the win. I don't know how many mice I would have broke if I didn't have Zoop. That constant click, 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 click to build things. That would have been so bad. Trolden says, oh yeah, I'm a latecomer to Satisfactory. Zoop is already a thing. I can't remember. I want to say Zoop came in update 5. Like, I don't think it was there when I first started building. There's the buzzer. Who played the buzzer? Why did it not show up in chat? Who played the buzzer? Oh, Frog redeemed the buzzer. Why did that not show up in chat? Oh, did you do it directly off the website? Off my storefront? That's probably why I didn't, because you can redeem that in chat. Oh, damn. If you could do that directly from the storefront, then I wouldn't know when it's coming for, like, the air horn. You did it from the storefront. That's amazing. I didn't realize that you could do it directly from the storefront. I don't remember if I started in update 6 or update 6 was imminent. Yeah, I know mine was right at the start of update 5 is when I started, and I want to say was Zoop just a patch in update 5? Because I remember playing for a little while where I didn't have Zoop, and then it was there, and it was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. Okay, why are you not They're linking. There we go. Why were you not in link build mode? You should have been. I don't even remember what update I started. There was 0 controller support, no Zoop, no SAM, and Alien Tech didn't exist, but was a placeholder. That's been like as long as I can remember. No Alien Tech. The SAM ore was there, but you couldn't do anything with it. Like they had the spots for it, and then of course they had the placeholders for the Zoop and the Mercer spheres. That is so in the wrong spot. Zoink. Gotta delete that out. I need to build this in the right spot. Crush'em says, bro, that's too many screws. You just wait. This is nothing yet. We're gonna build all the screws. And by the way, Crush'em, welcome to the stream.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
This isn't even the start. This is only 2 lines of bauxite that we're working with so far out of 72 lines of bauxite to make screws. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot more where this came from. We are breaking the record for screw manufacturing. I can tell you that much. Currently being held at 4.2 million screws, almost 4.3. We're going to blow that out of the water. I'll try and stay away from screws like the plague. Well, I mean, technically this game is designed, if you have the alternate recipes, that you would never have to build a screw if you honestly didn't need to. There are alternate recipes to get away without ever having to build them. And I'm just building them because I want to. I want to make the record for the most screws ever built in Satisfactory. And I've left wiggle room because the recipes that I have chosen are not necessarily the most efficient, but the way less amount of work to be able to pull it off. So I did not want to make sulfuric acid for that. Like there's aluminum recipes to be able to, where you could make your alumina solution with sulfuric acid. And it's technically more efficient. You can get way more scrap aluminum in the long run out of it, but man, what a pain in the ass that would have been. Because it's just another fluid you have to manage. And I was not managing another fluid if I could, like, not have to. Using steel screws right now. I haven't done anything with iron, period, right now. Because I basically, if I fly down here, it's a long ways down. Forgive me. Like it's a long ways down here. So I'm taking a single line of bauxite. We run through and we're taking this bauxite and we are making alumina solution with it using sloppy alumina. And then that sloppy alumina gets run through and refined into electrode aluminum scrap, which combines petroleum coke and alumina solution to be able to make your scrap aluminum and wastewater. We're then taking the wastewater, we're combining it with plastic empty containers to bottle it all up so that we can dump the wastewater into awesome sinks. That gets rid of our wastewater. Then we are taking our scrap aluminum that is getting smelted into pure aluminum ingots. And then those pure aluminum ingots are then getting turned into steel beams. And then those steel beams get run through constructors to make steel screws. And it's lots and lots and lots and lots. One conveyor of bauxite will make 1,200 items per minute, will make 1.97 million screws per minute. And I'm starting the second. There are 12, you can almost get a full 12 conveyors of bauxite just off of mining nodes. But then you can also mine all of the Caterium in the game and all of the copper in game, run them through a converter with reanimated SAM to convert that into bauxite. So you can actually get a total of like 72 conveyors of bauxite. So do the math. That's how many screws we're going to try to do. That's the goal anyway. Am I going to be able to pull it off? I don't know. I think I'm going to run into a game crash well before I get to that 100 million screw mark. I don't think I'm going to have a game crash before I hit the new record, like breaking the current record. The current record right now, somebody's did a video up on it. And it was like 11 months ago or something like that. And it was at like 4.3 million screws. So, yeah. However, this is going to be a crazy amount of work, so. You're making my wife so much happier to only have to deal with my neurosis as she sees yours. Oh, shit, right? little on the OCD side. Like I said, this is the Let's Game It Out OCD edition. Is basically what this is going to be. Nope, I don't want that much. I actually don't even need that top one there. That can go. Frog, did you lose some points to gambling? Personally, I think the slots is actually more fun to play than just gamble. You just don't make as many points on the slots. And I think it loses maybe a little bit more frequently. But you're not gambling as much either, so... Okay, I don't need that one there yet. I want to make sure everything else is lined up to that before I build that. So you're making anything with them or just sinking them? Everything is just being dumped into awesome sinks. Not making anything with it. It is clearly a waste of time, energy, and effort and resources. I'm exploiting the planet to just dump it into an awesome sink. Heavy modular frames. I could probably make a lot of heavy modular frames with all these screws, but then I'd have to use materials that would be making screws to make the heavy make the modular frames. No! Fixit doesn't like waste. I'm not wasting it. It's going into Awesome Sync tickets, so... Veldrin says, Bachelor pad equals absolute mess. Bachelor Satisfactory build, immaculate precision. Wouldn't that be the truth? I should probably connect to these. Get them sinking away. Come on, click properly. Yep. And of course, like this build, again, I've unlocked Summer Sloop. I'm using just as much Summer Sloop as I can spawn into the game. I'm not capping myself at the 104 available in Planet because everything is getting built basically in like a creative mode. It's allowing me to grab whatever I want for power shards, whatever I want for Summer Sloop. If it could be Summer Sloop, it's being Summer Slooped. To get the maximum yield of production out of this is what I'm going after, so. One more set of 6. And then I'll only have like 48 more conveyors to go. Of like 9,000 more conveyors. Actually, it's going to be more than that, really. Each row of bauxite is 1,900 conveyors times 72 conveyors. That's a lot of conveyors. Am I a sucker for punishment? Absolutely. My first month of Satisfactory was a month that didn't exist. Okay, I need to know what you mean by that. Did you delete the save by accident, so it never happened? It's my response to what Veldrin just said. Veldrin said, a game where you build a factory sounds boring, then you play it for the first time. Wait, what day is it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I want to try, like, I've been toying around the idea of trying Alchemy Factory, but there's a goofy game... This is maybe me, but it's being silly. There's a goofy game mechanic in it that I can't wrap my head around it. I don't like the mechanic. And that's the catapult. Bits has been playing it off and on his stream. And where it uses these little mini catapults where it loads your sales shelves with potions and stuff that you've made. And so these potions are like flying through the air, loading your shelves as they come off of your factory line. I think it's the stupidest game mechanic I've ever seen. And I don't understand why I hate it so much. I think it's just unrealistic that you would use a catapult to load your potions onto shelves. I don't know. It would be like using hyper cannons in this game to move products across the map, and then you having to try to catch them on like a freaking bounce pad. I don't know. That was not what I wanted there. Let's upgrade that belt. Dude has 20k awesome things that just make matters disappear, but has a problem using catapults. I only have 1,892 tickets into awesome things that make items disappear. Sorry, but the catapults to stock shelves is silly. I get your point. I know where you're coming from. It kind of makes sense. But the game does look fun. What game I never did get into and I never tried. Like, this is the first factory simulator game that I've ever done. Other than, like, dealing with some of, like, the mod packs with Satisfactory. Like, I was a big Tekkit guy. Really enjoyed Tekkit. Or the Yogg's Complete Pack and stuff like that in Minecraft. Where you could like set up production lines that would like, you could build like quadruple ore processing and stuff like that by using different materials to process the ore and get more ore out of it. I loved doing that in modded Minecraft back in the day. So I see how this game like fit into my ideological game style, but I never did try Factorio at all. It wasn't. This is the first one that I'm like, that was a factory simulator game that I'm like, dude, I gotta give this a try. I think this would be a lot of fun, but I feel like it's a little bit more of a top-down laid out. It's not a stacked factory game like this is, so. So what you're saying is Satisfactory is Star Trek The Next Generation, and Alchemy Factory is like Starfleet Academy. You know what? I haven't even watched any Starfleet Academy. Because it just doesn't... I don't know, any little clips or anything that I've ever really talked about, it's not Star Trek. It's a soap opera. Like, I don't know. But you got to remember, I grew up with the only Star Trek that was on TV, which was reruns of the original series. Yeah, I'm older than dirt. I know that. And then, of course, Next Generation. I think Next Generation I would have been... What years did Next Generation run? Star Trek... TNG... Runtime. The Next Generation was 176 to 178 episodes from 1987 to 1994. That was basically my junior and senior high school years right there. I graduated high school in 1994. So that's Yeah, so it is my later childhood. My early childhood was the original series. And then, of course, the movies. You were very close on the running time on that. That isn't where that's supposed to go. Let's fix that and build this properly. Even Picard was... It was all right, but it was just fan service is all it was. I might be dying on a cross on that one, but that's... It was... You wanted Next Generation, but it wasn't quite Next Generation. Wasn't there. When they need to find God in the movies, they found him about 15 miles away from my house. It's the worst movie of all time. Yeah, that one was a little rough. That one, I'll give you that one. That movie was... I really enjoyed, I think it's Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home? Yeah, I think that was the one where they went back in time, got the whales, and brought them back to stop that alien probe from destroying the planet. That's probably my favorite of the movies. You weren't old unless you remember watching Star Trek the Animated Series. I never watched it, but I'm old. Now, I've watched some Below Deck, which again is an animated series. Which is pretty decent too. I just don't necessarily know that you can call it Star Trek. Voyage Home, aka the whale one. That's, yeah. I enjoyed the whale one. I thought it was really good. Because that was when they, you know, basically Spock's trying to become, like, he's kind of recovered from when the search for Spock. And he went back to Vulcan to kind of relearn everything after his resurrection type thing from the Genesis project. And so Spock was like extra, like, it was funny. The interactions between Spock and 1984 humanity and Bones and Kirk through the whole thing was just, it was priceless. I thought it was really good. I think that was the best one of all of them. Star Trek the Motion Picture, man, that is, god damn, that one is so hard to watch because there's like 20 minutes of them flying through the object that later just ends up becoming Voyager 1. Like, and they've got this like long, no dialogue, 20 minutes of them flying through this labyrinth of crazy stuff. So I'll fight anyone who thinks Lower Deck isn't real Trek. It was entertaining. It's good. Lower Deck. I got the title wrong. I thought it was Below Deck, but it's Lower Deck. Deep Space Nine was a series I had a hard time getting into. I didn't mind some of the some of the characters and some of the story in Voyager. Yeah, I'm not going to get all of this done tonight. This one row. I've only got about another 15 minutes to go here. 15, 20 minutes. Then you got to remember that real life starts again in the morning. We just finished a long weekend, so 3 days off. It's going to be a long drive to work in the morning, too. Put a snow on the ground. That's going to suck. Love the motion picture so much. The music is gorgeous. The visuals are gorgeous. The plot, anyways. The visuals, the plot, anyways. The plot was bad. Visuals, I'll give you that. The visuals were really good on it, but that flight, that whole scene was rough. Your weekend begins today after being on since Friday. Okay, well I'm glad you get a weekend. Fortunately, it's only a 4-day week for me, so as long as I don't have I look after IT services for retail chain that we have 24 stores, 24 locations, and it deals with everything from like grocery to hardware to ag supplies to fertilizer to bulk fuels. So I look after all the IT for those 24 sites, and 25 including our administration office, I guess. And sometimes can involve a lot of driving, and I hate driving when it's like crappy weather like it is right now. Wait, are we at the top yet? No, we're not at the top of this one. Not yet. Come on, line up, would you? Of course, I like that we don't have the weather here. Rural, so Southern California. Well, wind sometimes and very occasional rain, but mostly just sun. Man, I wish I lived in the sun areas all the time. Like, we actually per capita days. Like, I live in Alberta, Canada is where I live, and we actually have like the most sun per day per year, days of sun per year, than anywhere else in North America. The problem is a good chunk of those days it's like minus go for yourself outside. So yeah, it's sunny out, but it's also cold. So yeah, that's a thing. We have the heat here, 50 degrees C, 120 Fahrenheit every summer. Yeah, like if we hit 30 degrees in the summer, 30 degrees Celsius here, that's a hot day for us in the summertime. We had some, like there was like a freak summer where I remember we did get up to about 40 degrees Celsius for about 3 or 4 days. That is wrong. I gotta fix this. That's not where that's supposed to be. I fix this one. I gotta spin 3 of these around. Very hot. 30/40 is hot. Yeah, but in the grand scheme of where things are really hot, Frog, that's actually not that hot. Especially with how dry our area is in the summertime. Trolden says 30 degrees C and I'm wanting a long sleeve. Man, 30 degrees C. I'm taking off just about everything I can at 30 degrees around here. I ain't looking for a sweater. That's the least thing I'm looking for. Now, with that said, like when we've had a stretch of the winter where it's been minus 30 degrees Celsius, when we get those Chinook winds and we hit those like -5 to +0 or to 0 degrees +1, we're like shorts and t-shirts at that point after we've had a long stretch of cold. Now, we've just had a really long stretch. I'm going to say 3 to 4 weeks of abnormally warm temperatures. Like we've had some days where it's been like 15 degrees Celsius in the wintertime, and that's very rare in this area this time of year. And we're moving into another cooling trend here right now, starting tonight and through to the next like week and whatnot. We're going to hit lows of like -28 degrees Celsius. That's going to feel like asshole cold just because we've been so mild for the last 4 weeks. So we're not going to be a happy bunch until we get reacclimatized to it again. So -10 degrees Celsius is on the boundary of inhospitable cold. Man, you should try -40. When it gets down to like -40 with like a -45 wind chill, yeah, that's inhospitable cold. Like I don't like it when it's that cold. Fortunately, we only see a day or two of those a year like that. Further north of us, yeah, it happens more frequently. But in our area here, we get a lot of the Chinook winds, so we don't get that. So, yeah, good thing about -40 is when nobody cares what temperature scale. Yeah, because -40 is -40. Doesn't matter if it's Fahrenheit or Celsius. I can tell you though that it's still damn cold. It still sucks. I think the coldest I've ever felt here was a few winters back. We did have a -54 wind chill once. Actual temperature, I think, was like -42, but it was pretty windy out, so we were getting that -54 wind chill. That sucked. But I mean, they don't shut our schools down until it's a temperature's -40. And even then, they're not technically allowed to close them because some of the rural kids or whatnot, the parents drop them off on their way to work or whatever. They can't strand a kid outside in -40, so the doors are opened, and it's just minimal staff there to let them in, but minus 40 is when they'll actually shut down the buses. And that's more because the diesel buses have a hard time running at minus 40 than the fact that, so it's more a problem to get the kids to and from than it is a problem with the temperature. And I mean, we'll get some occasional snow days, but it's got to be a lot of snow before a snow day kicks into play. You don't think you felt anything below 5 degrees Celsius? My eyeballs feel like they're freezing no matter how much clothing I wear. 5 degrees, man. This time of year for us, 5 degrees is t-shirt and shorts weather. I literally the other day I went to the grocery store to go pick up some groceries, and I was in shorts and a t-shirt, and I think it was like 5 degrees outside. Like, oh, minus 5. Okay, well, minus 5. Minus 5, I'll wear a long sleeve shirt. Throw a hoodie on or something. Like, I'm not sure what the temperature is outside right now. It's only minus 6 outside right now. We went out for dinner tonight, and I mean, it was snowing, so it kind of sucked that it was snowing, but I just wore a sweater outside. Like a hoodie, a zip-up hoodie. You're wearing a hoodie in your house right now, where the heater is blowing. Yeah. That's awesome. Did I see a skipped conveyor in there? No, I guess not. I thought I had seen a missing conveyor. My eyes were playing tricks on me. Wait, no. What? I did all of these backwards, didn't I? They're all facing the wrong way? No. Just the first two. Okay, good. Whew. I thought I screwed that up royally. I thought I put them all in backwards. Oh, but that's not going the right way. Okay, they're all going the right direction now. I'm like, I totally thought I screwed up all of those conveyors. That would have sucked. Oh, I screwed up something there. Yeah, that one's not right. I hate it when I accidentally like clip on the conveyor behind it. When you get these conveyors stacked so close together, and I have them that close together just to like save some real estate. So when I was a kid, they gave us a snow day once because we got our once in a decade snow that's stuck. It was gone by 11 a.m. They just knew that no kids could concentrate when there's snow to play in. I could hear that. Captain Picard and Commander Riker is Kirk divided into two parts. Picard did all the serious stuff while Riker screwed all the alien life forms they encountered. You're 100% right on that. I never really thought of it that way, but he totally think that is like split the personalities of Kirk. Kirk was a hoe. I'm sorry, but man, he was a hoe. Click. Might as well just hold that there and then nudge it into place. I think this will be our last little cluster here that we're going to get done. Not quite going to pull off getting this group done. I'm going to blame my lack of attention. I'm even fading. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, my body, it knows when it gets like late because you start doing stupid mistakes and forgetting where you're at, and it's tough to get into a build rhythm. I'll definitely get this section done though before I start, like if I get a stream going tomorrow. I should be able to pull one off tomorrow. Not 100% sure, but I try to at least stream a couple of times a week. It's hard to say. Like everything right now is very much a lot of rinse and repeat. Just because this project is I mean, it's that. It is what it is. I tried doing the Satisfactory calculator thing, trying to dupe this build, and yeah, did not like it at all with the amount of machinery and the amount of stuff, and I just not spread out enough to like break it into chunks and just copy chunks over. And then when I did paste, like I did get one full copy and then I tried to paste it. It like turned it and I didn't, oh yeah, I struggled with how I wanted to get it in place to where I wanted it to go. There needs to be a better way to copy chunks of maps than that web interface to do it. It'd be nice if there was a way that you could basically load it on the map, just highlight it, and then like just right click on it, copy, and then drag it to exactly where you wanted, and it would keep its XY axis the same. I think would be the best way to do it. Yeah, you're right. Trollden is having it as a tool built into the game that is native with the code rather than browser code. You're 100% right. That's probably the best way to go. You see, Satisfactory is the unintentional IQ test. It definitely helps with your math skills, that's for sure. I've spent many a day on spreadsheets figuring out, like I've got a spreadsheet that I've started doing for my next complete playthrough, where my target goal will be to have the last 4 items that go into the space elevator. I want to get them constructing at 10 items per minute as a goal, as well as I want to use all the uranium in game and make the ultimate nuclear power plant all the way to 100% completely recycled nuclear fuel. So that's going through uranium fuel rods to plutonium fuel rods to titanium fuel rods or whatever, where everything 100% gets completely recycled and there's no waste at all. And I've got a spreadsheet trying to figure that out. Fixonium, that's right. The fixonium fuel rods. So I've got a spreadsheet trying to figure that out right now as to exactly what machines I want, what recipes I want to use for it. Because there's certain recipes that they're just simpler to build with versus what your maximum yields or anything are going to be on. I want to go for like the simpler of the builds versus trying to get the absolute complete maximum yield. Especially if the goal is to have it all built as a regular straight through playthrough. So you're going to keep that in mind that, okay, eventual goal, I'm going to need X amount of pure iron ingots being made. So you're planning when you're in your phase 1 or whatever, your first tier of your challenges, you think, okay, I don't want to end up having to tear this apart later. So I want to keep an eye on, you know, where I'm getting my ingots from and how much of it how much space do we need for the amount of equipment that we're going to eventually build? Because I don't want to end up having to rebuild a bunch of stuff. Any game that makes you break out the spreadsheet, that's a good game. You start building formulas and math calculations to figure out how to play the game. Like that's a whole nother level of nerddom right there. I did a very similar play style in one of my playthroughs. I think it was for update 8. I wanted all of the items going into the awesome sink for the last phase of the space elevator, or not in the awesome sink, sorry, going into the space elevator. I wanted them at 1 item per minute. And the size of the mega factory for being able to do that was ridiculous. Like everything was massive. And that was just for 1 item per minute. I want to bring that up tenfold to 10 items per minute. And I think I want to do it without slooping. It might not be possible, but I would like to see that play out and see if it is doable. It might be if I take advantage of like reanimated Sam and stuff like that. Do conversions where need be to be able to get more products. Okay, let's actually build that in the right spot. Quick reminder, everybody, reach out, hit that like button on the video, subscribe if you are new to the channel, ring that notification bell so you can be notified when my next video or live stream has been posted. And a reminder, everybody, if you're interested in the rig that I'm able to stream and play and make this absolutely ridiculous build, it is available.
And now a word from our sponsor.
From my Amazon affiliate link in the description of this video and in the description or on the about section of my YouTube channel. My system specs have not failed me yet. On this crazy build, I've had a couple of little crashes, but I think that was more related to my internet crises that I was having there for about 2 weeks. Like I don't like a week-long stretch where my upload completely tanked. Where if I could get 20 megabits per second upload, it was a great day. And then I had another week where the internet connection completely died. I had no service in my house whatsoever. And then ever since I got it fixed from that, boom, like things have been solid. And I haven't had a single in-game crash yet. So I don't know if there was like some like update service or something that was like calling home during a long game session that it would drop the packet, and that's what ended up crashing the game. But then again, I have also tweaked the graphics down. As of today, I've dropped it down to medium graphics settings and cut down the view distances just because of the 900 billion kilometers of conveyors that I'm running. I figured it would just be, I don't want that conveyor like that. It just helps with the overall stutter as I'm streaming and gaming at the same time. Or if I'm sitting in the living room and I'm using Steam's stream capabilities so I can play off my laptop using my computer downstairs, which I think is an amazing feature in Steam. Just saying. Using your laptop as a screen and keyboard and mouse interface for your gaming desktop downstairs so that you can still have I'm spending time with my wife watching a TV show, but I'm still playing my video game at the same time. All right, so that's another 72 conveyors. No, 24, 48, 68, 70. Yeah, 72 conveyors. And that was a pretty good auto save skip there. We got 29 more conveyors that we got to crank out of this. No, 24, 28 more conveyors we got to crank out of this to get it all up and running. And then I can update the billboard for another stack of 104,000. I don't update the billboard until I've completed a full run of these. So my favorite thing to still mess with is sushi belts. See, I never did get into the sushi belt thing. The only thing I ever really did with sushi belts is when I was gathering those endgame items that were going into the space elevator. Once they were done with the space elevator, I combined them in a sushi belt to dump into an awesome sink is the only thing I never divided much out of them going on from that. But generally, I always try to like push a belt to its limits too. The only reason why I didn't merge all of these belts to get them up to 1,200 items per minute is because they were just going straight into awesome sinks, and to spend all that extra time on logistics to merge all these belts together to get them to 1,200 items, it did not make any sense. It would have been way more work than just adding a couple of extra awesome sinks to cover the gap. Like it's no big deal. No big deal at all. And generally, all the factories that we're building are all in this one cluster here so far, with the exception of our petroleum coke manufacturing, our plastic manufacturing, and our container manufacturing is all being done out at the oil nodes and then brought here as a finished product. But with that said, I think that's where we're going to call it here for tonight. A little over 3-hour stream. Thank you guys for chilling and hanging out with us. Don't forget to reach down, hit the like button, subscribe if you are new to the channel. Feel free to leave a comment on this video as well too. And let me know what you think of my absolutely insane screw factory that I'm building, and whether or not you think I'm still actually sane myself for trying to build all of this together. So with that all said, you guys have yourself a good one, and we will see you in the next stream. Bye for now.